Okay, so we're going to talk about cell processes, specifically passive and active transport. So the first thing we talk about is the cell membrane. And if you remember, the cell membrane controls what goes in and out of cells. It's what's called selectively permeable, which means some substances can cross the membrane and other substances can't. Usually they're too big. So sometimes it requires energy, especially when it's bigger, and when there's not big enough, then it's passive transport. So the two we're going to talk about are diffusion and osmosis. And active transport is exocytosis, which is moving out of the cell, and endocytosis, which is moving things into the cell. So first we have passive transport, and the first example is diffusion. So that's the movement of substances from a higher concentration to a lower concentration. So for example, oxygen molecules in a pond organism. So the higher concentration of oxygen in the environment than that in the cell, the oxygen goes in, and it becomes a balance until it's balanced. It will keep going in and out until the concentration outside the cell matches the concentration inside the cell. That's called equilibrium. Test question alert. The second type of passive transport is osmosis, and that's specifically the diffusion of water molecules across a membrane. So water will move in and out of the cell constantly. Just like in diffusion, it's until it's equal. Then we have active transport, which is the movement of materials that cannot pass through a selectively permeable membrane, such as sugar. This requires the cell to use energy. During active transport, the cell membrane changes shape and actually engulfs the particle, so namely food and pathogens. So when a pathogen enters your body, your white blood cells will change their shape and engulf the particle and make it go away.